today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Ahead of her upcoming rematch with Sandy Ryan, Michaela Mayer says they will have to pay me some big bucks to fight Lauren Price in Wales.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Michaela Mayer says they will have to pay me some big bucks for me to fight Lauren Price in Wales. There was a time when the phone didn't ring, a time when Michaela Mayer was without a world title, a fighter who was deemed a high risk and no reward. But that victory over Sandy Ryan last September changed everything for Mayer. Mayer beat Ryan in one of the greatest female fights of all time. A scintillating, pulsating 20 minutes that earned the American the WBO welterweight bauble, a win that gave her leverage. It also made her, in fight terms, a wanted woman. Lauren Price, courtesy of her win over Natasha Jonas earlier this month, is now in possession of every other welterweight title. The missing piece of her collection is the WBO title that Mayer currently holds. In simple terms, Price now wants Mayer. I think we all felt it might have been a little more competitive than what it was, Mayer says of the fight between Price and Jonas. Natasha seemed to be waiting too long. With her hands high in the defensive position, I don't know if her body was telling her she didn't have it anymore, or if Lauren just threw her out of her game plan. Lauren was the faster fighter, and her movement really got to Natasha. I gave Lauren the edge on movement before the fight, and she did that. She executed her game plan very well, and Natasha just couldn't find her. There wasn't enough aggression. You can't outbox a southpaw who is constantly moving. You have to press them. I don't think Lauren is better than what I thought. She boxed exactly how I thought she would. I think it was more of Natasha not having the right game plan.
I don't think Michaela Mayer's giving Lauren Price enough credit, because whenever Lauren did put the paws on Natasha, she visibly rattled her. She visibly wobbled her. That if you stand in front of this broad for too long, you're gonna get knocked out.
There were moments where I thought Natasha was going to, so if she seemed tense and hesitant to Michaela, that's why. She just couldn't contend with the hand speed and the foot speed.
There's nothing that she could have done about it.
It was all she could do to not get knocked out. Keep her hands high, guns holstered, and time your entry as best as you can, because if you don't, you're gonna get rocked.
Despite the impressive nature of Lauren's win over Jonas, Mayer firmly believes that she has the style and the know-how to become the first fighter to beat Price as a professional.
I wouldn't have had the same game plan that Natasha had, Mayer told Fight Post. With someone like Lauren, the game plan is so important. You have to be disciplined and stick to that game plan. She has that amateur pedigree, and it's won her that gold medal. It's a difficult style to beat if you don't know how, or if you don't have the experience or the right person in your corner. I have the experience, and
Hey, Natasha had experience too. Experience wasn't enough.
I would go in there with a smart game plan to beat Lauren, but we'll see. I have to get through Sandy one more time. Almost as soon as Price was crowned Unified World Champion, her thoughts turned to Mayer. The former Olympic champion wants to return home for a hometown fight. You sense an undisputed fight with Mayer would be the type of major fight that Ben Shalom and Boxer would love to secure for a future fight in Wales. They will have to pay me some big bucks for me to fight Lauren Price in Wales. Mayer says of if she would be interested in being in the opposite corner for that homecoming fight. I just don't see Ben Shalom doing that. I've done that before, but at this stage in my career, it needs to be in a somewhat neutral venue. I am not opposed to going back to the UK, but money talks. If they come to me with the right offer, then we'll think about it. But I want to make that fight. Once I get through Sandy, that is the next fight on my list. I have no problem having the conversation, though making the fight is something else. Michaela has had at least one or two bad experiences in the United Kingdom. The decision loss to Alicia Baumgartner,
That was in the UK.
and the daylight robbery in Liverpool opposite the ring, Natasha Jonas.
That was in the UK.
To where if you want her to go back there, you have to pay to play. You ask yourself, who will Michaela Mayer fight in the interim? She could always run it back with Natasha.
Get her revenge.
Natasha did not announce her retirement immediately after the lopsided loss to Lauren Price.
So as long as she's still active, as long as she's still around, that's a distinct possibility. Mayer versus Jonas 2, this time in America.
Lauren Price wants the winner of this month's rematch between Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan. Price believes Mayer will win again. If she wants that undisputed fight before the year ends, she will have to hope that Mayer does repeat her victory from last September. If Ryan wins, the two bitter rivals will be contractually obligated to go again. I have protected myself this time, Mayer says. I have the rematch clause. I don't expect to have to use it, but you never know in boxing. It's there if I need it.
It wasn't there when she fought Alicia Baumgartner, and it definitely wasn't there when she fought Natasha Jonas, whereas now, as WBO welterweight champion, she's covered all the bases.
It's been a really good training camp. Mayer relayed. It's been a hard training camp. It's been a long training camp. I've been in the gym since that last fight, and I'm really working on things with Kofi. I'm really settling into my welterweight body. I'm going to be a lot stronger this time, and I will make sure Sandy doesn't think she can bully me. When I won the opening half of the last fight, Sandy tried to sit down and outmuscle me. She won't be able to do that this time. I really want to make it a lot clearer this time. Just go in there and fix a few things I could have done better. If I hit Sandy with the same shots as last time, it will be different. I'm turning a lot more into my shots now. I can really feel that in the gym. Oh yeah, adds when I asked if Gentua has added more power to her game. That's the kind of fighter Kofi was. He was a puncher. Coach Al Mitchell is in camp making sure I stick to my style, boxing and moving. But the way Kofi is teaching me, I have never seen anything like it. He really is an amazing coach. I'm definitely learning so much and getting better every day. I feel so good that I'm still learning at this stage of my career. You never feel as though you've accomplished enough. I've been doing this for so long, but the biggest fights of my career are still ahead of me. This is the year I can close that chapter of going undisputed. I am so grateful that I am back in this position. I don't want it to slip away again. I know what it feels like. This is my second chance. After that, all new doors will open for me. In 2026, we will have to come up with even more goals. It will be a busy couple of years. Mayer has always chased that rematch with Baumgartner. A recent offer to run it back was declined by Baumgartner, but possible fights with Clarissa Shields and Chantel Cameron could be in the future. All three of those are really big fights for me. We'll see how things pan out. We'll see if Alicia wants the rematch. She's with Jake Paul now. He might think that's a really good fight, but Alicia and Amanda Serrano could have a really big fight as well. Clarissa is still working on coming down from heavyweight. We all have a busy year ahead of us, but next year we'll see. At 34 years old, Mayer is convinced her prime is still ahead of her. A win over Ryan sets up those lucrative, seismic fights with the likes of Price, Baumgartner, Cameron, and of course, Clarissa Shields. It's fair to say that retirement isn't in their thoughts. Back in the day, I always thought I would be done at 35, Mayer told me. But since Kofi has come into my team, I feel as though I am elevating my game and getting better. I feel I am growing as a fighter, especially now. I am not cutting weight anymore. I'm feeling strong, and I still feel I have a lot to give. So I am going to do it for as long as I feel good.
There's a lot to address here, so let's just focus on Lauren.
Lauren is a boxer, and Lauren is a speedster. So to get to her, you need some dog. You have to try to dog her out because you're not winning a boxing match.
The caveat with that strategy is, as the aggressor, you're likelier to get hit coming in.
And with the kind of speed that Lauren has, if she nails you with a shot that you don't see, it could be the one that puts you down. That's why Natasha kept her guns holstered. Every time she got hit with a shot, she was caught off balance.
Looked like she was about to go out. I happen to think Michaela Mayer is a lot more durable than Natasha.
So maybe she'll be able to hold the shots better, but it's just one of those things to where it's easier said than done. You can know what you have to do, but still not have all the ingredients to do it.
We'll see if Michaela Mayer has them when the time comes.
If they can't work with you, you know what I mean? They're trying to do everything to close you out.
David Benavidez recently had a sit-down interview with his old buddy Jake Paul, describing the situation involving Canelo and Turkey and all of that.
And he's claiming that they're taking a roll with us or get rolled over kind of approach to boxing. Let's hear it again.
If they can't work with you, you know what I mean? They're trying to do everything to close you out.
David Benavidez flew to Saudi Arabia and stood there for all of 15 minutes before flying back to America, having missed the main event, which was the whole reason that he went out there.
So that he could come back to America, make an appearance on Jake Paul's podcast to talk about how they're trying to close him out?
According to your own promoter, They offered you a fight. They offered you a fight in the interim while you wait for the winner of Better Be versus Bivol 3.
Have there been talks for a Bivol fight?
No, it was an offer from the other side. We say
From Riyadh season?
to fight somebody else for a good money-wise, but money, by loyalty.
So let's get it straight. Nobody's trying to close out David Benavidez. They're trying to work with you.
Though some are interpreting this as sort of a Cold War between Turki, Alalshikh, and what remains of Al Haymon's PBC stable.
You know the type. The usual suspects, the usual riffraff that seem to contribute the least to the sport of boxing fiscally, but have the most to say.
Over here praising some Saudi Arabia fights. Nigga, Saudi Arabia fights, nigga. Want to go around there, some sweaty ass Arabs, nigga. Niggas don't believe in no deodorant. Them niggas are sweaty as hoes in the and you niggas are celebrating that type of shit, talking about that's boxing, that's saving boxing, nigga. Ain't no money that he got, nigga. Come to my hood, we'll take that oil money from you, nigga.
You have to wonder about the mental state of this disgruntled little man shouting obscenities into his phone in what appears to be a vacant apartment.
Under construction while under the influence of narcotic drugs.
What the hell is he so mad about? What has Turki Alalshikh been doing in the sport of boxing except putting together fights? That's all he's been doing. That's all he's trying to do. And for that, this garden gnome...
He looks like Steve Urkel if he didn't graduate high school.
What's he angry about? That they offered David Benavidez a fight in the interim while he waits for the winner of Better Be versus Bivol? What's so wrong with that?
That Al Haymon's not the one in charge. That Al Haymon's not the one in control. If you really want to get to the crux of why some of these guys are so angry at Turkey, it's because Turkey has the means, the money, and the influence they thought Al Haymon had.
Turkey is, in real time, who they pretend Al Haymon is.
Degeneracy aside, what is this about if not putting David Benavidez in the ring with the winner of that fight? If you stay this course, the most you're going to get out of it is an email belt, an email title, a title emailed to you. Is that better than just playing ball and getting the winner of that fight in the ring and making a lot of money while you wait?
For David it is, because they're not after the winner of that fight. I told you. They just want a vacant title.
I saw another opinionated guy who goes by the name Remy who said, I don't trust this guy. Freezing out the stars of our sport because they don't want to play ball? This is what y'all call saving boxing? Just admit y'all jumped the gun.
Who's freezing David out? You call offering him a fight in the interim while he waits freezing him out? For freezing a fighter out, see what Al Haymon did to Terence Crawford.
See what the PBC welterweights did to Terence Crawford, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman.
That's freezing a fighter out. Refusing to fight him so that when you don't, you can say he hasn't fought anyone.
Remy continued, I don't hate nothing more than mofos who blatantly contradict themselves in all seriousness like this.
You're the one contradicting yourself, pal.
I understand changes in opinion, but these mofos are blatantly changing the rules once again to meet right. I had to start hating on Turkey to balance shit out.
You started hating on Turkey as reprieve for Al Haymon, revenge for the perceived hate you think he gets.
Except that the stuff you're accusing Turkey of is the stuff Al Haymon did. If anybody's guilty of freezing out fighters, it's Al Haymon, not Turkey, because Turkey works with everybody. PBC guys included.
But did you miss that while you were cooking up stupid arguments and stupid reasons to hate on a guy who's not doing anything but making fights?
PBC fans are not boxing fans.
I've long maintained that, because what is Turkey actually doing aside from making fights? And for making fights that are often difficult to make, look at these guys. Look at the reactions.
PBC fans are not boxing fans.
When it comes to the real boxing fans, the real patrons of the sport, this is what they think. A Twitter user that goes by the name Damian Cowie said, this bitch went to Saudi Arabia, didn't sit down to make a fight, and ran home before the main event. Then wants to whine about being frozen out? When you show you're full of shit, it's understandable why time isn't being wasted chasing him. He had an opportunity, but he didn't want it.
That's exactly how it looks to me.
Who the hell flies 15 hours halfway around the world to leave the same day they arrive? before doing any business or before making a deal. Who the hell does that?
Guy who doesn't want to fight.
So where you have the Artmans and WBS Rimmys of the world trying to cook up narratives to make Turkey out to be the bad guy, the real boxing fans aren't buying it because there are more comments just like this one.
Two more. Amilcar Maldonado said, tell Benavidez to get a deal with Turkey.
El Jefe said, bro, we're seeing the best fights right now. I don't care. Benavidez needs to take the money. For real.
Boxing coach stated, you guys act like you're in the game. Watching some guys make conspiracy theories and complaining sets you up to be the voice of the sport. All of a sudden, Turkey is doing more for these boxers than anyone. They just stuck up and arrogant to accept something different.
Arrogant is the action word, the effective word, because you have to be pretty goddamn arrogant to think Turkey has to chase you down and do things on your terms to give you a career high purse, the kind of purse you're not making in America.
Don't fool anybody.
You're a prize fighter, aren't you? And in Saudi are the biggest prizes. So why don't you want to go? Why don't you want to play ball? You'd have to be pretty goddamn arrogant to think Turkey has to chase you down to offer you life-altering money.
Two more guys who responded to Remy's ridiculous post. Caesar Nava, a friend of the channel, said, you're jumping the gun by believing anything David says. That guy and his team are full of shit.
MG said, you mean the stars that were ducking each other before Turkey gave them an offer they couldn't refuse? Fury versus Usyk, Better Be versus Bivol? They were stalling. He saved it because the fighters now aren't scared to put their records on the line. Those fighters...
You will notice it's the PBC guys dragging their feet. PBC guys like Gervonta Davis, David Benavidez.
So let's condense it. Let's simplify. Staying the course and the way things are going, all David Benavidez stands to get out of this is a vacant title, an email title that he hopes the WBC will email to him. Is that better than playing ball and getting the winner of Better Be versus Bivol?
Not to us, but maybe to him, maybe to David, because he'll get the belt without having to go through Dimitri for it. I've never thought he wanted that fight, and I still don't.
What I think he wants, what he's hoping for, is a vacant title. Without having to go to Saudi and without having to fight one of them, that's what he's after.
And we've been all through that. Thus, the accusation that Turkey is now trying to freeze out fighters is coming from those with no credibility, defended by those with no credibility.
Who but Turkey brought Matchroom, Queensbury, Boxer, Golden Boy, Top Rank, and some PBC fighters to the table because it wasn't Al Haymon.
Sides of the street, remember?
That's his legacy, along with running off every major broadcaster that gave him a deal.
You guys gotta stop smoking dope. It's frying your brain.